Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome aboard. Glad we could get together. A little more light on the subject here. Where's my other light? There we go. Now we're really lit up, aren't we? Well, glad you're here. I'm running a little late. I should have been here about an hour ago, but hey, better late than never, right? That goes for recovery too. My name's Glenn, by the way. Welcome in to my channel, Aware and Convinced, all about recovery. Glad you're here. I am a recovered alcoholic. I did drink for over 40 plus years and been sober now for over 5,000 days. So I've experienced it all. We're pretty close to it anyway. But hey, nice to have you here. Glad you're with me. Let's get that light out of the picture. There we go. And yeah, welcome on board for sure. Let's see where we are. Bear with me here just a second while I get things tweaked up. And hi, Judah. How are you? Nice to have you here. Glad you could make it. Stick around for a while if you can. Always nice to see new folks out there. And if you like what you see, like what you hear, just give a little click on that like or subscribe if you want more. And hey, be happy to oblige, you know. We are a recovery channel. We do talk about recovery from whatever your addiction happened to be. I know what mine happened to be. I wish I could forget about it, but can't do that. It's part of life. No, get off of my chair. Come on, get down. Kitty's giving problems. Come on, Kitty. This is my new chair. I can't have it as a scratch pad. I know you want to. I have to put you out of the room if you don't behave. Okay? I'm going to put you out if you don't behave. Oh, yeah, my last chair, she had a ball with that. She just tore it all up. She loved it. See what I mean? It's my companion, my friend. All right, you can get down now. You want to jump up there? Go ahead. Go. Thank you. Sometimes I think she does understand English. Absolutely. All right. So what are we doing? We have been talking about the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and we've been reading some things out of there, some different chapters. This is gold if you have an addiction problem and you want to do something about it. This is gold also. Celebrate Recovery Study Bible. And this is gold also. A lot of gold here. Big Blue Book of Narcotics Anonymous. Okay. All valuable tools in the process of getting sober. How do you start your day? How do you start your day? Where is that? I've got to look something up here in the Bible, actually. Let's go over here. How do you start your day? I know how I start mine. I'm eternally grateful just for waking up and taking a breath in the morning, believe me. Yeah, you too? You agree with that? Of course you do. Okay, 1459. Let's see, where's 1450? Oh, that's only 12. Another 200 pages. 1450. 59. Okay. There is a little thing here, a verse in the Bible that I think is important. All I have to do is find it. 5:22:23. Okay, where is 5? 22:23. There's 5. There's got to be another page in here. Is there another page? That's the one complaint I have about the Bible. It's the pages are so thin. I know there's so many pages, but they're so thin. 5:22:23, which is if. Oh, here it is. 22 and 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Yep, self-control. Gotta have some of that. But those are the things we should all strive for. The fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Say a little prayer, a gratitude prayer every morning, that you receive that throughout the day. Keep you on the right track, right? Should. That's for sure. Hello, Kyrell. Hello, Dayton. And hello, Sig. Hello, Sig. Well, I hope that's okay for a nickname. Sig, how you doing? Yeah, we're just hanging out, talking about recovery a little bit here, a little bit there, tying in a little bit of celebrate recovery, I should say, from the study Bible, and also doing some reading of the Big Book. So, where were we yesterday on the Big Book? Okay, chapter 7. Okay. So anyway, yeah, getting up in the morning, first things first, right? Which would be a gratitude prayer. At least that's what I do every morning. Thank you for waking me up another day in paradise. Right? Okay, appreciate that. So let's get back into looking at the Big Book here. See what we can see. So we left off with chapter 7. Chapter 7, working with others. Why do we want to do that? If we're in recovery, just leave us alone. Let us get well. Why do we want to work with others? Okay, well, it says practical experience shows that nothing will do so much to ensure immunity from our addiction as intensive work with others. Well, okay. It works when other activities fail. This is our 12th suggestion. Carry this message to other. Now, keep in mind, the Big Book was written for alcoholics. However, you can substitute the addicts in there just as well, because if you're an alcoholic, you're an addict, you're addicted to the drug of alcohol. But because this was written way back when, they didn't necessarily correlate addiction with alcoholism. Don't ask me, I didn't write it. Okay, but I do some self editing along the way here because 1935 to 2026, there's a lot of different ways that the English language has changed over the years. So, this is our 12th suggestion. Carry this message to other addicts. You can help when no one else can. You can secure their confidence when others fail. Remember, they're very ill. Yeah, they are. Doesn't matter what your addiction is, alcohol, drugs, food, whatever, porn, lust, money. They are very ill. Life will take on new meaning. To watch people recover, to see them help others, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow up about you, to have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not miss. And that is so, so true. We know you will want. We know that you will not want to miss it. Frequent contact with newcomers and with each other is the bright spot of our lives. Perhaps you're not acquainted with any drinkers or druggers who want to recover. You can easily find some by asking a few doctors, ministers, priests, and hospitals. Hey, all you've got to do is go to an AA meeting or an NA meeting, and you'll find them right there. They'll they'll be only too glad to assist you. Hey, don't start out as an evangelist or a reformer. Unfortunately, a lot of prejudice does exist. You will be handicapped if you arouse it. Ministers and doctors are competent, and you can learn much from them if you wish. But it happens that because of your own drinking or drugging experience, you can be uniquely useful to others. So cooperate, never criticize. To be helpful is our only aim. And when you discover a prospect for Alcoholics Anonymous or Celebrate Recovery or Narcotics Anonymous, when you find a prospect, in other words, another addict, find out all you can about him or her. If they don't want to stop their addiction, don't waste time trying to persuade them. You may spoil a later opportunity. This advice is given for the family also. They should be patient, realizing they're dealing with a very sick person. Now, again, keep in mind this is all coming out of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And again, it was put together quite a while ago. So when they say sick person, they don't go into any real detail, but nevertheless, their addiction is a sickness. If there's any indication that he wants to stop or she wants to stop, have a good talk with the person. Have a good talk with the person most interested in them. Usually a spouse, a partner, close friend. Get an idea of their behavior, their problems, their background, the seriousness of their condition, and their religious leanings. You need this information to put yourself in their place to see how you would like them to approach you if the tables were turned. All right. Usually, it's wise to wait till they go on a binge. Yeah, if they come back alive, that's probably a good time to approach them. And the family may object to this, but unless they're in a dangerous physical condition, it's better to risk it. Again, this is of AA. It's not my opinion. Don't deal with them when they're under the influence of whatever drink or drug, unless they're ugly and the family needs your help. Ugly meaning, I guess they're meaning apt to be uh, aggressive. And if the family needs your help, then you can deal with them. Wait for the end of their binge, or at least wait for a lucid interval. Then let the family or a friend ask them if he wants to quit for good and if he would go to any extremes to do so. So basically, what are they talking about? An intervention, right? An intervention. Okay. If they don't want to go to any lengths to get sober, to recover from their addiction, never force yourself upon them. Neither should the family hysterically plead with them to do anything, nor should they tell them much about you. But hopefully they will say yes. If they say yes, then they're aware that they should do something, then their attention should be drawn to you as a person who has recovered. You should be described to him as one of a fellowship who, as a part of their own recovery, try to help others and will be glad to talk to him or her if they care to see you. So you reach out to somebody who's in active addiction, you've got to be very careful, very gentle. And unfortunately, usually, in my opinion and my experience in recovery, they're going to have to hit rock bottom before they're going to do anything. Okay. That's why if they say, no, I'm not interested, well, the family shouldn't get all upset about it and get involved and try to, you know, get over anxious. Usually the family should not try to tell your story if you're the one trying to help out. When possible, avoid meeting them through the family. Approach them through an institution. It's a better bet. And that's true because a lot of the AA groups that I'm familiar with, NA groups, the same thing, Celebrate Recovery, they do have little groups that they put together within those organizations that will go out to institutions and treatment centers to spread the word that, hey, this is life or death matter. Okay. So it shouldn't be forced. That's the bottom line. It really exemplifies that old saying, you can drag a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink. You can tell him all about the water is great. It's the best water you've ever tasted. It's fantastic. It's cold. It's clean. And you can drag that horse who's been in the desert and he's just dying for thirst, just dying, literally. But you can't make them drink the water. They got to do it on their own. So let's continue here. Let's see here. So if you're satisfied, meaning the person that's trying to help out here in this situation, if you're satisfied that they're a real addict, begin to dwell on the hopeless feature of the malady, of the sickness. Show them from your own experience how this mental condition surrounding that first drink or the first drug, the first drug use, the first hit, show them that immediately prevents normal functioning of their willpower. They cannot stop. Heck, I couldn't stop. If I had one, I had to have at least 4, maybe 5. And after that, it was just oblivion, It was ridiculous. Um, it says, don't at this stage refer to this book unless they have seen it and they wish to discuss it. Be careful not to brand them an alcoholic, an addict. Don't brand them. Let them draw their own conclusions. If they stick to the idea that they can still control their drinking and drugging, hey, tell them possibly they can, if they're not too far gone. But insist that if they're severely afflicted, there may be a little chance that they can recover by themselves. Yeah, that's true. When you have a group of like sick people to lean on, such as a group of AA or NA, Celebrate Recovery, it's so much easier because, they've all been there. We've all been there. If you're in recovery, you know exactly what I'm saying. If you're not, you should join the club because it's well worth it. It's well worth your time. Well worth your life. Your prospect may belong to a religious denomination. Their religious education and training may be far superior to yours. In that case, they're going to wonder how you can add anything to what they already know. They'll be curious to learn why their own convictions have not worked, and yours seems to work so well. It may be an example of the truth that faith alone is insufficient. Yeah, remember? Remember that? Faith without works is dead. They'll be curious to learn why their convictions have not worked. Okay. To be vital, faith must be accompanied by self-sacrifice and unselfish, constructive action. Faith without works. Actions speak louder than words. Let them see that you're not there to instruct him in religion, or her in religion. Admit that they probably know more about it than you do, but call their attention to the fact that however deep their faith and knowledge, they could not have applied it, because if they did, they would not drink or drug. Perhaps your story will help them see where they fail to practice the very precepts that they know so well. We represent no particular faith or denomination. We're dealing only with the general principles common to most denominations. Outline the program of action, explaining how you made a self-appraisal, how you straightened out your past, and why you're now endeavoring to be helpful to him. The 3 pillars of sobriety: trust God, clean house, and help others. It's important for them to realize that your attempt to pass this on to them plays a vital part in your own recovery. Actually, they may be helping you more than you helping them. Make it plain that they're under no obligation to you, that you hope only that they'll try to help other addicts when they finally escape their own difficulties. Suggest how important it is that they place the welfare of other people ahead of their own. And make it clear that they're not under pressure. They needn't see you again if they don't want to. You should not be offended if they want to call it off, for they have helped you more than you have helped him. If your talk has been sane, quiet, and full of human understanding, you have perhaps made a friend. Maybe you've disturbed them about the question of their addiction. That's all to the good. The more hopeless they feel, the better. They'll be more likely to follow your suggestions. Your candidate for sobriety may give reasons why they need not follow all of the program. They may rebel at the thought of a drastic house cleaning, which requires discussion with other people. Don't contradict such views. Tell them that you once felt as they do, but you doubt whether you have made much progress had you not taken action. On your first visit, tell them about the fellowship of AA or NA or Celebrate Recovery. If they show interest, lend them your copy of the book. Unless your friend wants to talk further about themselves, do not wear out your welcome. Give them a chance to think it over, and if you do stay, let them steer the conversation in any direction that they like. If they are sincere and want to see you again, ask them to read this book in the interval. After doing that, they must decide for themselves whether they want to go on. They should not be pushed or prodded by you. So, trying to get someone, a family member or a friend or someone, an acquaintance that you know, to get sober, it's a tough job. And you've got to be careful, and you cannot force it on them. As much as I tried to force it on someone that I knew very well, it just, because it's coming from inside of you, and all you want to do is help them, but you cannot force it, even if it puts you in pain. If you feel pain when they're in their active addiction, whether it's alcohol or drugs or anything else, doesn't matter. It's tough. It's tough to be the one to try to bring this help on. You've got to be very patient. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does not work. This goes on for quite some length. There's another chapter to wives. There should also be a chapter to husbands, to spouses, to partners. And again, this was written in 1935, so the majority of alcoholics, it's that male chauvinism that kicked in, back then. Well, I shouldn't say male chauvinism. It was a male, yeah, I guess you could say that. Male dominance at that time in history. So they did write this chapter to wives about the alcoholic husband. They should add a chapter to the husbands, again, the partners of the alcoholic or the addict, for the other side, whatever it is. They also have a chapter on the family. Which is a good read also. Now, what I find, in my own personal opinion, let me find it, bear with me. back here. I find that the best, and again, this is just my opinion, the best chapters are up to and through page 101. That would be the last chapter that interests me personally. It's just my personal opinion, and that's working with others. That's the last one that we just reviewed. And then I would skip over, again, personally, I would skip over Two Wives, The Family Afterwards, Two Employers, and pick up, let's see, 165. Where's 165? Well, that's Two Wives. Let's see, family. And oh, that's Two Employers. And chapter 11 in the big book of AA, A Vision for You. Which, again, doing some self-editing here, I would read that one, definitely. Because it does talk about drinking, drugging, addiction. AA, of course, the big book mostly centered around alcoholism at that time, and still does center around alcoholism, but it's also used as a guide for any addiction, for recovery. It doesn't matter what your addiction is. So, and again, this is just my opinion. I'm not a doctor, psychologist, or anything else. I'm just a guy who used to drink a lot, and I've been sober for a little while now. So, let's see. What I would like to do is I'm going to kind of keep it short tonight because I was out late. It's late for me anyway. The Living Sober book. This is a good book. It's got some good stuff in it. They all have good stuff in it. Who am I kidding? And it's put out by AA Worldwide Services. And again, this is another very valid chapter, information that's used in recovery around the world. This particular chapter is, oh, and hold on a second, because I've got to bring this up here just to discuss. Hold on. Okay. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Why did I do that? Bear with me. No. Bear with. There it is. Okay. So this particular chapter 7, did I say? Yeah, living sober. This chapter is using the Serenity Prayer. So typically, before each meeting of AA, excuse me, just for a minute, I got to have a little drink of water here. Mm, a little ice water. All right, I needed that. Typically, before each meeting, at least the club that I used to go to, and most of them, they do the Serenity Prayer first. On the walls of thousands of AA meeting rooms, in any variety of languages, this invocation can be seen. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There is also an addition to that prayer, okay, which I will read to you now if you don't know it. If I can get rid of some of these advertisements. And that addition is living one day at a time, enjoying the moment at a time, one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking as he did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make all things right if I surrender to his will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever and ever in the next. Amen. So that whole prayer is attributed to Reinhold Niebuhr, 1892 to 1971. The Serenity Prayer. AA did not originate it. Versions of it seem to have been used for centuries in various faiths, and it's now widely current outside of AA as well as within the fellowship. Whether we belong to this church or that, whether we're humanist, agnostic, or atheist, most of us have found these words a wonderful guide to getting sober, staying sober, and enjoying our sobriety. Whether we see the Serenity Prayer as an actual prayer or just as a fervent wish, it offers a simple prescription for a healthy emotional life. We've put one thing right at the head of the list among the things we cannot change: our addictive nature. No matter what we do, we know that tomorrow we won't suddenly be a non addict. We'll always be an addict, either to alcohol or to drugs or to some other things as well. Any more than that, um, oh no, I beg my pardon. I read that wrong. Any more than we'll be 10 years younger or 6 inches taller. Yeah, if we're a non-addict, we're never going to be a non-addict or a non-alcoholic, whether it's drink or drug or whatever. Never be a non. We'll always be one. Um, we couldn't change our addiction, but we didn't say meekly, "All right, I'm an addict. Guess I'll have to use and abuse myself to death." There was something we could change. We didn't have to be using addicts. We could become sober addicts. Yes, it did take courage, and we needed a flash of wisdom to see that it was possible that we could change ourselves. For us, that was only the first most obvious use for the Serenity Prayer. The further away we get from the last use or abuse or drink or drug, the more beautiful and more packed with meaning these few lines become. We can apply them to everyday situations, the kind we used to run away from, and into our drug of choice. By the way, of example, I hate this job. Do I have to stick with it or can I quit? A little wisdom comes into play. Well, if I do quit, the next few weeks or months may be rough, but if I have the guts to take it, the courage to change, I think I'll wind up in a better spot. Or the answer may be, let's face it, this is no time for me to go job hunting, not with a family to support. Besides, here I am, 6 weeks sober, and my AA friends said I'd better not start making any drastic changes in my life just yet. That's true. Better concentrate on not taking that first drink or drug and wait till I get my head straightened out. Yep. Okay, I can't change the job right now, but maybe I can change my own attitude. Have an attitude of gratitude, right? Let's see. How can I learn to accept the job serenely? That's an interesting one. That word serenity looked like an impossible goal when we first saw the prayer. In fact, if serenity meant apathy, bitter resignation, or impassive endurance, then we didn't even want to aim at it. But we found that serenity meant no such thing. When it comes to us now, it's more as plain recognition, a clear eyed, realistic way of seeing the world, accompanied by inner peace and strength. Serenity is like a gyroscope that lets us keep our balance no matter what turbulence swirls around us. And that is a state of mind worth aiming for. Serenity. So use the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You know, when I used to say that serenity prayer, literally almost every day, um, the one thing that stuck out to me was courage to change the things I can. That was me. That was the only thing I can change in the world. It's me, right? I can only change the things I can. Courage to change the things I can. That's me. And wisdom to know the difference between the things you can't change and the things you can change. Wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. Living sober, courtesy of the AA World Services. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up now. I mean, it's been a pleasure being with you. A few folks I saw along the way. Thank you so much for stopping in. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back tomorrow, right around 9 Eastern p.m. If you're on the East Coast, and evening. And it could be that you're watching this morning, evening, morning, afternoon, evening, or overnight. Whenever you're watching, I appreciate you. Thank you. By my heart, I do thank you. Um, God bless you. God bless you. God bless our veterans. Remember, trust God, clean house, help others, and never forget that somebody out there loves you. Okay? We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.